Okay, I might have overreacted a little bit to the Game Awards.
What do you mean?
But also, like, can we just all agree that Astrobot did not deserve it this year? There was a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about, which was why I spent the last couple days kind of going back through the stuff that happened and really making sure I hammered down what I wanted to say. Because I didn't just want this to be kind of me just yelling at the screen about how bad Astrobot is, or how other stuff is overrated, but there's a lot to talk about. First thing that I wanted to talk about is, why was Elden Ring on the Game Awards? Listen, I get that it was a good DLC, but also, why something that's already won Game of the Year, why is that allowed to return? Not only that, but Balatro. Like, Balatro is a very fun game. I've been playing it non-stop, but also, I really don't think it's up to the standard of Game of the Year. It doesn't have the replayability or the wealth of gameplay that it does. Like, it's really fun while you're on your phone, or every now and then for like maybe an hour, but compared to Silent Hill 2, or Space Marine 2, or Helldivers 2, there's so many different 2s they could have picked, and even though they got awards, they just weren't in Game of the Year for some reason. So just to go back over some of the awards. Tekken 8 got Best Fighting Game. I think that is very well deserved. Tekken 8 is an incredible example of a fighting game, and I honestly think that deserves its place as Best Fighting Game, even over Sparking Zero, which is pretty good in itself. Black Myth Wukong got Best Action Game. I don't mind that pick. Personally, I'm kind of sick of seeing Souls-likes just endlessly winning everything, and I really don't think Black Myth did enough that was different compared to a lot of other Souls-likes, but it is a good game. I just think that Helldivers 2 should have won it. Even after the Sony disaster, that doesn't mean that the base game is bad. That's corporate bullshit that's outside of the gameplay. The rest of the game is still pretty exceptional, and considering how many people are playing it currently because of the new update, I mean, I think that speaks for itself. Like, it's doing incredibly well, and it deserves to be. Metaphor wins Best RPG. Yeah, again, Metaphor is a bit of a late runner at the end of the year. I think that it's a very good example of, like, again, another incredible show from the Persona team, like Shin Megami Tensei. They have an incredible wealth of knowledge on how to make these games and how to make them good, as well as having a wealth of people that are frothing at the mouth for the next thing they make. So yeah, I think that Metaphor deserves it. But also, I think my personal pick would have been Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just because of how incredible that game was. And a lot of people are kind of passing it off as just being the same as the remake, but have you guys played the game? Have you seen the differences between the two? Like, there is no realm in which I would put Rebirth and the remake as being the same game. Yes, they are very similar because it's a sequel, but also Rebirth expands on the remake so much that it's incredible. I don't know how to explain it outside of just go and play the game. It's on PC now, so you don't have an excuse. I know you don't have an excuse. There was that highlight for Amir Satvat. Sorry if I messed up the name. I don't know if it's just corporate bullshit from the Game Awards trying to make themselves seem like a holier-than-thou type, but I do think that it was very well deserved. Making sure that game designers and game developers get a place back in the jobs that they want is very important, and these large companies really just continuously are laying people off left, right, and center, and they do not have an excuse. It's like, these companies are making billions upon billions of dollars a year, and they're laying people off because they can't afford it? I don't know, something doesn't match up there, but EA Sports FC 25 won Best Sports and Racing Game. EA Sports FC 25 won Best Sports and Racing. Why? Is all I have to say. Sure, there weren't many other examples, but like F1 24 was pretty decent. It was a big step up from F123, and I mean, while the multiplayer wasn't incredible, it was at least a step in the right direction. I had fun with the game. I can't say that for any of the other participants. Frostpunk 2 won Best Strategy. Yeah, Frostpunk 2 was an interesting game that I played. I don't think it held up as well as Frostpunk 1. I'll just go out and say that, but it is still an incredible game on its own standard. I just think they could have gone a different route with it, because to me, Frostpunk 2 really struggles with being incredibly linear at the start of the games, and it's not until you get past oil that you really start to get be shown the freedoms that you deserve, and that's what frustrates me a lot. Where with Frostpunk 1, the game is brutal, but you can do pretty much whatever you want, and that's what is the delineation between the two for me, at least. Helldivers got Best Ongoing. Yes, it deserved it. Helldivers is incredible, even over ZZZ and Genshin Impact. Like, Genshin Impact had an incredible year. I really like the gameplay of ZZZ, but I'm really, 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 really glad that a gacha game didn't get Best Ongoing for once in our lives. Fallout got Best Adaptation. I thought Fallout was very good. I also thought Arcane was very good. I thought Arcane Season 2 deserved that, but at the same time, I have my own issues with Arcane Season 2. I think that some of the pacing's not there. I think that there's a lot of battles that feel like they're closer to trailers than they are actual fights, at least until the last third of the season, and then it really picks up. But, you know, it's a series that's trying to be stylistic, and it's not going to hit everything perfectly. Fallout, on the other hand, was a very interesting look at the Fallout universe, something that I hadn't really seen before or even thought of, considering I think that Fallout's a pretty boring world in comparison to a lot of other RPGs, but there's something about the Fallout show that just captures it very well. Even though they play a bit of weirdness around with the ghouls and stuff like that, I didn't really mind it, considering, like, the timeline seems pretty strong. Like, it seems like everything's there. It seems like they have everything really well planned out. And yeah, I mean, Fallout was just a really good show. It was really fun. I would highly recommend watching it if you have the chance to. Black Myth Wukong also won Player's Voice. Again, I kind of saw that coming. A lot of people really enjoyed Black Myth. I don't see the pull for it personally, but people are, you know, you're welcome to have whatever voice you want, and yeah, Black Myth, again, I'm not trying to say that it's a bad game. I just don't see the pull. It's an incredible example of what a Souls-like should be. I think that it's not as good as Elden Ring, which is probably why the DLC was there this year. But, yeah, I think it deserved Player's Voice. If that's what people wanted, then that's what they got. I see no issue with that. The thing I did have an issue with was Astrobot winning Best Direction, Best Action Adventure, and Game of the Year. Astrobot swept. Astrobot swept. Little Big Planet 3 swept the Game Awards. I'm not going to go into it, because we got stuff that people actually want to hear about. I don't think Astrobot deserves any of the praise that it's gotten so far. I think that it's an interesting game. I think that it's fun. I don't think it deserves to be even on the stage of Best Game of the Year, or anything like that. There were some interesting reveals this year. Borderlands 4 definitely looks like a video game. I don't know what it is about that, but the design, the way that the trailer was shot, it looks like the movie. We'll go with that. It looks like a Borderlands 4 movie. And we all know how well the movie went. Clive is coming to Tekken 8, and that's actually something I've been waiting for, because a lot of people were expecting Tifa to come. I knew from the very beginning that it was going to be Clive. I didn't have a shadow of a doubt that it was going to be Clive. I mean, Clive is an incredible character, even for all of the people that hate Final Fantasy XVI. I love the game, I thought it was Game of the Year, but at the same time, it does have its issues. That being said, the best part of Final Fantasy XVI is Clive, and if you think it isn't, you're wrong. You're just wrong about Clive not being the best part. Actually, there is Torgal. I did forget about Torgal. Torgal is a very good part as well. So if you think that Torgal is the best part of Final Fantasy XVI, I'll give you a pass. New Dying Light. After the last Dying Light, I hope that it's good. I don't have high hopes. I'm probably not going to buy it. We got another sneak peek at Den of Wolves. Den of Wolves is definitely a game I'm excited for, especially after what happened with Payday 3. I'm excited to have a real Payday game. Again, and not just Payday 2 for 12 years. We're finally gonna have a heist game that feels good to play. A new Sonic Races, which is gonna be interesting, considering the last Sonic Races I didn't think that had that much hype. Elden Ring Night Rain is what everyone seems to be talking about, and I'm probably gonna play it, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna go with the whole PvE Battle Royale thing. It sounds like an interesting concept. I don't know. It's okay. Witcher 4 is a pretty big one, and if we're going on to the games that are returning, then Bimmy and Jimmy are back, baby. Double Dragon Revival is coming, which is interesting. We got a new Ninja Gaiden. We got a new game from Team Ico, who were the creators of Shadow of the Colossus. We got a new Killing Floor, which was announced, which we've heard a fair bit about, but we haven't seen much of, so I'm interested to see more of that, like some actual gameplay, and not just like the cherry-picked stuff that they chose for the trailer. A new Onimusha, which hasn't been around for like 12 years. Virtua Fighter returns, which again hasn't been a thing for like 12 years. A new Turok, and Okami the sequel. Okami was an incredible game when it came out, and for some reason we just never really saw anything else about it until the remaster and re-release on, I think it was Switch? But yeah, Okami is an incredible game. I'm very interested to see what they do with the second, because yeah, it's gonna be hard to match the majesty that is Okami 1, but you know, there's always hope. And honestly, these things actually have me excited. I'm not sure how Onimusha is gonna be. Please don't turn it into a Souls-like. Please don't turn it into a Souls-like. Also, the first Berserker seemed to be getting a lot of people hyped, but again, like, I really don't trust trailers that are just cinematic. Until we see some actual footage of the gameplay, I'm not gonna hold my breath. Same with The Witcher 4. I'm excited for The Witcher 4. I'm excited to see where the story goes. Oh, please, for the love of God, don't fuck it up. Especially after the launch of Cyberpunk 2077, like, CD Projekt Red, please, just, if the project is a bit too big, cut it back. It's not a difficult ask. I understand that it's not going to be as big and grandiose as you wanted it, but make the game solid. Don't have another Cyberpunk issue, okay? Cyberpunk was fantastic after a few years, and even still, I run into incredibly insane bugs. Just cut it down a little bit, right? Just cut it back. You have the world, you have the story, you have all of the books to go off of. Just take your time with it, cut it back a little bit. The world doesn't need to be as big as, like, the entirety of Europe. You can have it be a little bit smaller. But yeah, overall, that's my quick rundown of the Game Awards. They're a little disappointing, I'll be honest. Balatro deserved Best Indie Game. I think that it deserved Best Indie Game when I got it, but that's kind of all I would put it up to. I don't understand why it was up for Best Game of the Year. And honestly, in my eyes, my Game of the Year would probably be split between two decisions. It would either be Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just because of the wealth of gameplay and stuff that's out there for it. The way that Square Enix has approached Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is incredible. I love the way that the world is being shown this time. I love the way that Sephiroth looks and is just approached. I love how the Golden Saucer plays. I just love the feel of it. Yeah, otherwise, I believe that Helldivers 2 deserves Game of the Year. And that's not me sucking up to Sony. I honestly think Sony can go do things that I can't say on YouTube, but Arrowhead did an incredible job with Helldivers 2. It was one of the most fun experiences on launch, playing with the endless amounts of people, killing the Tyranids and the robots, and now that they have the Illuminate I think that it's gonna be another incredible year. I just wish that Sony would stop sticking their hands in the pot and then trying to change stuff when it really doesn't need to be changed. Because you keep fucking it up, Sony. You keep making a fucking mistake. And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you don't learn. Anyway, that's my sum up of the Game Awards. I just wanted to go out of my way to make sure that, like, you guys understood where I stood on it. I don't understand the nominees. I really think that Space Marine 2 deserved way more coverage than it got. Silent Hill 2 was incredible. Stalker 2 was incredible. Even Sparking Zero really didn't seem to get anything outside of a nomination for Best Fighting Game, but that game was pretty insane. Anyway, hope you all have a good day. I'll catch you in the next one, and I guess we'll see what happens. Next year's gonna be interesting. We got a lot of releases coming out.